Watch out for cash money, cause we landed down. Money making is my thing, cause I'm trying to be rich, trying to put away meals. That's why I'm in the studio dropping hits, dropping rap after rap like you sell key after key. Backed up by the best fresh, dropping beat after beat. My clique is the hot boys, best believe we so high and dangerous if we in beef with the whole block. No fading us at all, player, cause we roll too deep. With AKs off safety, knocking busters off their feet. I go by the name the BG. I ride on chrome in the 98 Lexi S3. I'll bust it down for baby on this B3. Because I know one thing, he'll do the same for me. We family, cash money is the homie, better get a navy. So if you ever play hear me, look here, it ain't gravy. Don't try to knock me, player, cause I'll leave your head stale. Light you up real good, you will never get well. Cash money is the homie, better get a navy. So if you ever play hear me, for you it ain't gravy. Cash money is the homie, better get a navy. So if you ever play hear me, for you it ain't gravy. I got a path that you don't.
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, Timothy J. Jones. Let me adjust this camera real quick. Bring it in a little closer. There we go. What's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, Timothy J. Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. I really do appreciate your time. This is a post Saints Talk edition. If you checked out the first episode of Saints Talk with Timothy J. Jones, the weekly episode that you will get every single week on Bleacher Report, is going to be every Wednesday at 7 p.m. If you did not, feel free to check it out. I'm going to go ahead and put that link inside of the chat. If you didn't check out the first episode, there you go. This isn't going to be a long episode at all. Actually, it's not even, I wouldn't even call it an episode. Just going to read some of your comments for about 20 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. If you want me to expound a little bit longer on the Saints head coaching search, that's where the link is for Bleacher Report. You can hit that. It will bring you directly to the page, and you'll be able to check out the episode. But I do want to mention the fine folks at BETUS. Sign up today, get up to 150% on your first deposit, up to 125% on your second or third deposit, up $2,000. Use the promo code YouTube150. Feel free to put those comments inside of the chat, and we'll go from there. But once again, Saints Talk with yours truly, Timothy J. Jones. About a month ago, I was contacted by members of Bleacher Report, and they liked the show. They liked that the post games that I've done, and they asked me would I like to be a part of a weekly Saints podcast. And of course, I was like, absolutely. It was mostly just kind of a trial thing with Bleacher Report, just to try to see where it goes. And I guess we were able to do a good enough job where we can actually do this every single week. So I'm extremely honored, man. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm extremely honored to be a part of that. Anybody that knows my journey of being here since the first episode or first couple of episodes, I mean, I went from a guy who was doing podcasting in my closet, man. I mean, I was in my apartment closet. I used to have to sit in there because you can hear a huge echo in my apartment. And I used to have to sit in there so it can drown out the background noise. And I was using my iPhone 10 to record just little information. And I would take little pictures and create like a little slideshow. And now we're actually on a major streaming platform like Bleacher Report. So, I mean, I'm humbled by the situation. I'm humbled, and it just is a testament to so many great people that believed in me personally, but also the concept of the State of the Saints podcast, that we get to interact with so many other people and maybe move this thing a little bit further. But I ain't going nowhere, and I'm just asking everybody to hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. I think, man, we hit some type of record. Like, I don't think I ever had these many subscribers in 1 month than I had last month. So if we can keep that energy going, man, we can keep that type of energy going. We'll be at 15,000 subscribers, 20,000 subscribers really, really soon. All I ask that you do is to do your part, if you have not already, and hit the subscribe button. All right. But let's go ahead and get into it, man. Put your comments and your questions down in the chat. We're about to go right now, starting now. Charmaine says, I'm happy for you. Look, I'm happy for this platform, Charmaine. It's people like yourself and so many others like that believed in me. You know, like I can't even come up with the words to describe how you all mean and what you all mean to me and this platform. Like, I really mean that. Like, I wouldn't get the opportunities that I get if it wasn't for individuals like you interacting, sharing, coming here every episode, making the show what it is. All right. So once again, man, the State of the Saints podcast, we only can go up from here. And we're going to continue to keep this momentum going, man. Thomas says, congrats, bro. Much respect. Jerry, congratulations. Says, thank y'all, man. I thank y'all so much. But, you know, I just say thank y'all, like, for real. Like, thank you. Double K says, the Saints have to nail this head coaching search. Don't get no familiar faces or nothing. Turn the page, move different, gotta stop running in circles. Double K, look, I definitely agree with you on that. I expound on that particular case on Saints Talk. But yeah, man, I mean, I just think they need to go in a different direction. Some people will say, like, if they were to hire Aaron Glenn, a coach like him, he's not Sean Payton. He just, you know, was a part of Sean Payton's coaching tree. But my question would be, are you hiring Aaron Glenn because you feel like he's the best coach? Or are you hiring Aaron Glenn because you know him from Sean Payton? And if you know him from Sean Payton, that's the reason why you're hiring him. I'd rather you allow Aaron Glenn to go somewhere else. Thank you, Slim. I really do appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. Let's see. Whoa, back to the back-to-back live streams. Yeah, Rico. Yeah, shouts out to you for coming over there, man, asking some questions and listening in. But yeah, man, I mean, I wanted to you know, just kind of do like a little quick you know, Q&A over here on the State of the Saints podcast. And, you know, I might end up you know, doing this more on I guess probably after I go on Bleacher. I have to see, though. It depends on the situation, because with Bleacher, you know, I went about 48 minutes, but they just want me to kind of keep it between 30 and 40 minutes. So sometimes if I'm going about 30 minutes, I'll probably come over to this channel and do some Q&A. And because they're kind of working some things out with Bleacher, I want to put this new concept in. And I'm probably going to implement. Ain't no probably. I'm going to implement it here as well. If you have some questions, some comments that you want to send to me, you can do it in a voice memo. What I'm going to start doing is, I know sometimes I don't take phone calls, but I want to probably add. I keep on saying probably. I want to add an audio version of this. Meaning, like, if you have a question or a comment, or you have something to say, you can send it to me. And what I'll do is I'll download it here and we'll play it for the show. Now, if you want to do that, you go to stateofthesaints@gmail.com. All right. You record your question or your comment. Like, keep it between, you know, 30 seconds to a minute. And, you know, I'll play it here. And, you know, we'll start doing it like that. So I want to be a little bit more interactive, because I know sometimes, you know, I don't always open up the phone lines, but people still have some things to say. And I feel like that's kind of equivalent to you all typing in your questions and your comments here. So stateofthesaints@gmail.com. Put your, let your voice be heard. Let your voice be heard. Giovanni said, TJ, I remember those early days. Yeah, man, I remember as well. I mean, it was State of the Saints was just a concept and a thought in my mind. And never in my wildest dreams would I imagine like we would get to this point. Let's see. Shout out to Jono Barnes. Yeah, man. Shouts out to Jono, man. I checked out a little bit of the episode that he did on yesterday. Shouts out to him, man. He played the Atlanta Falcons song that I created on the show, man. And I spoke with Jono and he thought it was funny and he asked me could he use it on the show. And yeah, of course. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course you can. Look, man, that kind of stuff is humbling. Like, I know some people like, man, like that's humbling. The fact that, people, think so much of you and, to want to, use stuff that you do, or reach out to you and talk about, some of the things that they want to do. So I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. Like, I mean it. I'm not, this is not hyperbole here. Like, I'm blessed. Mickey Loomis may hire Glenn since he has no vision of moving on from the Sean Payton era. Well, look, let's give Aaron Glenn some level of credit here. I mean, he has done a really good job in Detroit. Like, he deserves to be a head coach. Once again, my question is, are you hiring him because of that fact, or are you hiring him because he's familiar? And if you're hiring him because he's familiar, I don't feel like that's fair to the organization. It's not fair to the fans, and it's definitely not fair to Aaron Glenn. Alfred says, I seen an article where they said we will be a worse team without Carr. Am I missing something? We're going to win 2 games instead of 5. We're paying $40 million for a dude that can't get us to the playoffs. Alfred, I 100% agree with you. And I said this on the last episode, and I'm going to say it here again for those that may not have checked it out. And I honestly put it in the State of the Saints podcast clip that you can actually see here on the channel. I'm starting to create clips, of little things that I said throughout episodes, just to kind of give people understanding of what we talked about. But back to Alfred's point. Yeah, I mean, what are you paying for? A guy that's not going to get you to the playoffs? Like, you can do that with Spencer Rattler. You can do that with Jake Hayner. You can do that with Daniel Jones. You can do that with a journeyman backup. You can do that with Andy Dalton. So you're going to pay a guy $40 million to have you on the outside looking in, or keeping you from actually reaching your full potential because he can win you a couple of games where you're picking outside of the top 10. I'd rather lose. Look, I'd rather somebody, not lie to me than to try to tease me or something. Like, don't do that. Like, if we gonna stink, let's just go ahead and stink for the betterment of the team. Like, I know people don't want to go through that, and people like, they talk about like how these organizations they kind of be circling the wagons and stuff like that, or they try to stink it up one year, and then the next thing you know, like, they try to get better. Like, for every team that you see, right? Like the Jets, like they'll say the Jets, they always use the Jets when they're talking about ineptitude. But the Jets have been a trash organization for years, decades, if you will. Because, I mean, we all heard the stories about Woody Johnson, talking to his teenage sons who playing Madden. They didn't want Jerry Jeudy because his Madden grade was low. When you have standards and practices like that, of course, you're going to be terrible. But for every Jets, there's the Texans. Anybody remember with Lovie Smith? Lovie Smith, they were trash. But they ended up going to the draft, drafting Will Anderson, drafting C.J. Stroud, their future franchise quarterback, and they've been in the playoffs ever since. Back-to-back years in the postseason. So I'm just saying, like, you can say that, oh, man, you might go down this downward spiral and you never will be able to recover. If you look yourself in the mirror and say to yourself, man, we got to fix this problem, we got to get this issue resolved, then do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? But come to grips with who you are. and make the best decisions. And if you don't have the right people in the building to make those decisions, you need to be finding them, just like you're trying to find your next head coach. So as far as I'm concerned, like, what are we talking about? Like, Derek Carr, yeah, he can win you some games, but once again, what are we trying to do? Are we trying to just keep some behinds and seats? Are we just trying to keep the popcorn hot, the peanuts roasted? What are we trying to do? Like, are we trying to do that? Are we just trying to sell some t-shirts? Are we trying to win some football games? Are we trying to be a competent organization? Is my question for all those out here that's talking about please keep Carr. Look, I ain't trying to be in the department of desperation. I'm not in the depression or the desperate department. Do you hear me? You know, like we like I can remember this, man. So I remember going to a interest meeting. I'm serious. I went to an interest meeting like when I was pledging a fraternity, right? If you have something to say about fraternity, that's your opinion, all right? Everybody has their opinions, but look, I'm in one. But anyway, I was going to an interest meeting, and I can remember my soon-to-be player's father, when I went to that interest meeting, he said, we would love to have you, but we don't need you. And I'm like, man, what you talking about, man? Like, man, we trying to turn this thing around, man. Y'all ain't have a line and I don't know how long. What you talking about, right? But it registered with me. Like, man, we want, you know what I'm saying? We want results. Like, we want somebody that's going to bring some stability, some quality to what we're actually doing. And we rather like sit up here and look and have a drought, right? That always stuck in my head, right? And I feel the same way with the Saints. Like, we don't need this dude. Right? What are you doing? Like, I can do bad by myself. I can suck without you. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I'd rather be miserable without you than miserable with you. Like, with Derek Carr, you're just wasting your time. You're wasting your time, bro. Like, you wasting your time thinking that this dude gonna lead you anywhere. You need too much of a perfect situation for Derek Carr to thrive. Derek Carr is making too much money. Like, you can say, oh, well, it's the NFL. When based on quarterbacks, he's not making a lot of money. Derek Carr is making way too much money to be mediocre, to not be the main reason why your team isn't finding success. Period. Stop trying to turn a mountain into a molehill. Stop trying to put a square peg into a round hole. We can talk about it all you want to, but the reality is this. Dude making way too much money for him to be stinking it up and not elevating people around him. And a couple deep balls to Rashid Shaheed a game or two is not going to move the needle. It's just not. Stand there in the pocket, holding on to the ball too long, checking it down time after time. Alvin Kamara, 12 catches for 12 yards. Man, miss me with that. Like, if I'm going to suck and I'm going to stink, I'd rather do it with a young quarterback that's growing and developing and trying to figure it out. The 0-6 start with Spencer Rattler doesn't waver me at all about him as a quarterback at all. Like, people are like, well, he was 0-6. They didn't win any games without Derek Carr. So the freak what? Because on one hand, you got a rookie that doesn't have anything around him, got some backup guys you're going to see in preseason game 3, he's throwing the ball to that's protecting him, versus Derek Carr, who is supposed to be a seasoned veteran in his 11th season. He's supposed to understand the defense. He's supposed to understand the speed of the game. So if he's sitting up there losing and stinking it up and not winning against competent competition and only beating low-hanging fruit, and that's what he tried to do when he came back to that Carolina Panthers game, because he thought, oh, man, this is a perfect game to come back to. The Saints have been losing. I can come back in Carolina, beat up on them a little bit, and Carolina went out there and slapped that boy around. That boy was a 9 factor in that game. You win in 5 games, but which one of those teams that you played against outside? No, I can't even say the Falcons. They ain't even have a winning record. So the fact is, you didn't even beat a winning team. 5 wins, you didn't beat not one team that had a winning record. Low-hanging fruit. So we supposed to throw a parade that you won 5 games against like incompetent, bad competition. Like, come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing, folks? Strolling down a little bit, strolling down. I'd rather be tanking while building towards something than stuck in mediocrity for the foreseeable future. Sink or swim with Rattler or another free agent quarterback with a cheaper price tag. I'd take Jameis again. Look, I'll take Jameis. I'll take Teddy Bridgewater. I'll take Cooper Rush. I'll take Justin Fields. Look, I would take somebody that's not going to cost me that much, somebody that's probably going to provide some levels of stability, right? While I'm trying to build the team. Like, we've seen this happen. Like, before CJ Stroud was there, Houston went out there with Davis Mills. And speaking of Davis Mills, I wouldn't mind like somebody like that. Like, bring somebody in that's, that can kind of spin it a little bit, help these guys, win a couple games. But if you got to suck, cool. See, man, that's the thing why I don't understand. Like, we know what we are as a franchise. If the Saints find themselves hiring a head coach and the Saints are flirting with the playoffs next season, you have to believe that not only did that guy exceed expectations, he should be the freaking coach of the year. Okay, so we all understand the situation that the Saints are in. The problem is, man, some of these Saints fans, I'm gonna call it for what it is. Some of y'all like Mickey Loomis. Y'all delusional. Like, y'all don't want to face reality. The reality is that this team has to go through some hardships in order for them to find prosperity. The question is, are you willing to be patient with this football team? Some of us are getting mad because we don't want to be patient, because we talking to our Atlanta Falcon buddy and he telling us we going to stink for the next couple of years and we ain't trying to hear his mouth. I do not care. Why would I sit up here and care about what a team that hasn't been to the playoffs in 7 seasons, what they fan base got to say? Or Carolina Panthers or even Tampa, for that matter. I don't care about any of that stuff. Like, get these jokes off right now. Get the jokes off right now. Go ahead and let them hit. But eventually, I know that I'm building towards something special. Some of us care too much about what people think, and that is what's clouding our judgment. That's the reason why we losing our mind and losing our ish about this state of this team. We have to understand that this team is going to have to stink for a little while. And I'm okay with that, as long as they're going in the right direction, as long as they're not peeing in the air and telling me it's raining. Y'all get what I'm saying? Like, don't lie to me. Don't tell me sweet little lies, because I know that what you're saying to me isn't factual. I don't care about what these other organizations are saying. I don't care what the fan base is saying. If I'm building towards something, right? I'm on my little red hen right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm on my Noah's Ark right now. You building a boat on dry land. It ain't raining I don't know how long. They laughing at you. Yeah, okay. But when the rain comes, guess who's going to be in this boat? And guess who's going to be knocking on that joint trying to get in? That's what I'm on. I don't know about you. I can take a few laughs. I can take some jokes. I can dish some jokes too. But understand and have the patience. Like, stop trying to find an easy fix, because there is none. You're 7 as of right now. I guess, you kind of alleviated yourself a little bit more because of Ryan Ramczyk signing that deal. But let's just say, okay, you're about $50 million in dead cap money. $50 million in dead cap money right now. The worst. I think the next team is like 19 or 20. Like, you are in purgatory right now. And if you combine that with bad drafting, bad upper management practices, you stink. Call it for what it is. You have to be able to address the situation. Anything in life, right? Relationships, money, anything in life. If you're going to fix a situation, financial problem, relationship problems, you have to admit that there is a problem. The first step to Alcohol Anonymous, what they tell you is to say that you have a problem, to address it. Right? The scientific method. What's the first step? State the problem. We already understand what the problem is. The problem is the cap. The problem is bad practices. So understand that you have to stink because of the mistakes that you made. Fans, be patient while they try to get themselves out of this situation. And let's move on from it. Care about what no Falcon fan telling me, oh man, you're in purgatory. Ha ha ha. Good luck with the cap. Dead cap money. Ha ha ha. So what? Like, get off social media. It's not real life. Like, seriously, it's not real life. People joke all the time, man. After I get off social media, guess what, man? I'm up in there watching TV with my son, my wife. I'm good. Stop caring so much about what these people saying to y'all because y'all don't want to hear these jokes, man. Get out your feelings and address what the situation is right in front of you, man. Fix the problem. That's what you need to be doing. TJ, line help is on the way if we're smart. 2 of my classmates, both offensive linemen, declared for the draft this week. Mason Richmond and Tyler Esberry. We can get them both and add depth. Well, I tell you what, man. Look, I know that Iowa is really, known for offensive line play and its tight ends, right? If you're a tight end from Iowa, hey, I don't care if you win the 5th round or 6th round, you can play for me. Offensive linemen, because they're known for running the football, and we know what type of year the running back had. So, I'm not mad at that, but you definitely want to be picking really, really high in the draft. I would have to look at those gentlemen draft stock, and I'm pretty sure nobody really kind of put together anything on the draft board just yet. I'll just try to take a look just for the sake of this question. Try to see. I'll just look at Tyler Ellsbury. Let's look at his. Let's look at his Tyler Ellsbury. Okay, so Tyler Ellsbury. I don't even think they got no NFL draft report on him. Let me see if they got an NFL draft report on him. Nah, I'm not even really seeing anything on him. So they probably, because he didn't declare, they didn't know. So maybe they'll probably have something, and we'll get to that at another time. So just remind me, Josh, and we'll circle back on those 2 gentlemen. I fully agree. TJ, Granny used to tell me, you save your face and your at the same time. Gotta fall on me. Excuse my language. Look, Tom, I understand, and that makes perfect sense. And Granny was right. Shouts out to my grandmother. I know she's watching this right now, or she's probably gonna be watching the after show. In that case, shouts out to the after show grandma.
Shouts out to them after show boys. Shouts out to them after show boys. They be tweet and be posting. They be tweet and be posting. They be tweet. Yeah, them after show boys. They be tweet and be posting. They be tweet and be posting. They be tweet. Yeah, them after show boys.
Shouts out to my grandmother. Shouts out to all the after show boys, after show girls out there. So Jonathan says, I'm with you. We need everything. But in my opinion, pick one dog, wide receiver. And the rest works on fixing the trenches on both sides of the ball. Jonathan, that's a good point right there. Not mad at that one at all. Makes perfect sense. McMillan out of Arizona is the top guy that everybody wants to go after. Of course, I had a mock draft that I put together that I didn't realize. And look, and I'm not trying to sound arrogant at all. I promise you, I didn't think that it was going to get the type of traction it did. I just kind of put together a mock draft on X, and it just took on a life of its own. I'll go ahead and pull it up so you all can check it out and see what I did. But the thing about those draft simulators, we don't know how that's going to go. I did that based on what they gave me at the time and what would make sense to the needs of the New Orleans Saints. And there's no right or wrong about that situation. Like there's no right or wrong, like, because you don't know how the way the draft is going to go. So based on these draft simulators, I just built this based on that. So let me go ahead and pull that up so you all can see it. And here it is right here. So I had at number 9, I had Mason Graham out of Michigan, because I feel like the New Orleans Saints, they need definitely someone that's going to be able to plug the middle, no pun intended, pause. And Mason Graham is that guy that can provide that. They had issues at stopping the run, and I think that him alongside Brian Brzee, I think that would be a really good combination. And the 40th pick, I got Trey Harris out of Ole Miss. He's a guy about 6'2", 6'3", around 212, 215, kind of has that McMillan type mode about him. I think that he would be that yards after the catch receiver, the guy that can absorb that contact, the guy that can make those acrobatic catches for the New Orleans Saints. So Trey Harris would definitely be a guy. And then Quinshawn Judkins, he's a guy, that started at Ole Miss. He transferred to Ohio State, really good running back. We don't know what's going to happen with Kendre Miller. So I think that, Judkins can actually come in, be a good complementary to Alvin Kamara, good change of pace guy, a little bit taller, a little bit bigger than Alvin Kamara. So that would be your change of pace guy. And then with number 90, I got tight end Mason Taylor out of LSU. Look, if you in Louisiana, you're an LSU fan, I don't need to sell you on Mason Taylor. I think that he is a true tight end. He's a true pass-catching tight end, a guy that can be a threat in the red zone, a guy that can help you in third down situations. He can be a utility guy. He can be a safety valve for a young quarterback like a Spencer Rattler if you want to roll with him. At 111, I had Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. I think the bowl game that he had a few, I want to say last week, I think that kind of helped his cause, and I think that a lot of people saw him and it kind of moved his name up some draft boards. So I don't know if he's going to be there at 111, but like I said, I mean, with this draft simulator, they had him there, so I selected him. Some people are talking about his relationship between him and Judkins, them having some beef, but look, this is a professional football team here. This ain't college, right? Look, if we draft you, y'all need to figure it out, right? I mean, y'all gonna have to work it out. So y'all gonna have to dap it up, or you know what I'm saying? Like you don't know. I mean, I know y'all remember, I want to say Bruce Irvin back in the day when Jimmy Graham got traded to Seattle, and they had some beef. They quickly squashed that beef, right, for the betterment of the team. So I got Jackson Dart at 111. And then I got Cornelius, the offensive tackle out of Oregon. He's athletic. I think with this, I would, if you want to have him at right tackle, let's just say, for example, you feel like the new coach comes in and feel like, man, maybe Trevor Penny ain't really moving the needle for me. You can bring Cornelius in. Cornelius can be your right tackle, or, you can keep Talese Fuaga where he at, or he's a guy that can slide in the inside and be, your left guard at that particular point. And then, like, let's just say if you don't pick up Trevor Penny's fifth-year option, then you can slide him to the right tackle, and then you have yourself a right tackle in Cornelius and Talese Fuaga at your left tackle. So you have two young guys on your left and on your right. So that's why I picked him. Savion Jones from LSU, an edge rusher, had about 4.5 sacks. He's a high motor guy. In those later rounds, you're looking at some of these guys, they can be like rotational guys, on your line. So he can provide that. And then also Simeon Burrow, he's a guy that has a lot of energy. He's a guy that can, possibly make your team. You will hope that he would, but he will be your 7th-round pick. So those are some of the names that I had, based on the mock draft that I did. And those were the reasons why. But I know some people would say no safety and anything like that. But, just based on where the stars are aligned, if you're not getting Malachi Starks in the first round, if you're not getting, one of those top guys like that, then I don't feel like you need to be wasting a draft pick or try to reach. And I think that's the issue with the New Orleans Saints and what they have done over the last couple of years. They've been reaching. They've been getting a Stretch Armstrong on, trying to reach and trying to make players, more than what they actually are. So I'm picking based on availability and the chances of them actually seeing the field. To me, that collection of guys probably will make it a really good draft. Jackson Dart would also be able to compete with Spencer Rattler for that starting position, if you decide to move on from Carr. So that was my draft. That's why I felt about it. I'm gonna read a few more, and then we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here, folks. Let's see. Would be nice to get Ashton Genty. Would be nice, but if you get Ashton Genty, then you basically have a guy that's just going to be a backup running back, because Alvin Kamara is going to be a starting running back. So why would you race the first? And I'm not saying this to be facetious, Rick. I'm just saying, like, why would you want to spend a first round draft pick on a guy that's going to be a backup, that's not going to have the majority of the snaps unless something happens to Alvin? We know Alvin got hurt this season, but who's to say that he will get hurt next season? And if he does, if he were to get hurt, is it going to happen right away? It's going to happen mid-season, late in the season. So you basically would have, Ashton Genty out there, as a guy that's not going to give you major production. I just think that with that 9th pick in the draft, you need to get somebody that's going to be on the field a high percentage of the time. And I don't think Ashton Genty would be that guy. Now, if he's there in the 2nd round and you're picking, then I say snatch him up, right? I wouldn't be objective to that. But in the 1st round, let me take that back. Even in the 2nd round, I would say maybe even reevaluate that, right? Because to me, the first 2 rounds, you need somebody that's going to be starters, day 1 starters, guys that's going to be able to hit the ground running. TJ, Aaron Glenn is going to be a head coach. I agree, Chase. I agree. Question is where? TJ, why not get Carter at 9? Because Abdul Carter is not going to be there, Nola. You know that, man. He's the best. He's the best overall defensive player in the draft on some people's draft board. I just think that he's top 5 material. Like, I don't think he's going to be there alone. You're probably going to have to move up in order to get him. That's the reason why. And like I said, Nola, this was based on what was given to me at the time. I don't do trades and all that kind of stuff when I'm doing draft simulators. I don't, because that's not realistic. Like, that as of right now, the Saints are going to have the 9th pick. The Saints are going to have the 40th pick, the 71st pick, the 98th pick, etc. Right? So that's what I was picking players based on. Like, so based on that draft board, he's not going to be there, man. And based on a lot of people's draft boards, he won't be there at 9. Get Scatterboo over Genty. I disagree with that. I disagree. Ashton Genty is a better overall running back than Scatterboo is. Scatterboo is just a battering ram, a Peyton Hillis, a Taysom Hill, a Mike Allstott, okay, a Eddie George type guy. Not the fastest guy in the world, but he'll break a tackle or two. And, if we're talking about from a fan favorite standpoint, I think that he becomes an instant fan favorite on any team that he plays for. I just think that smash mouth, hard hitting type style is never going to get old and is always going to give you good favor within a fan base. But if I'm choosing between the running backs, I'm going with Ashton Genty, because to me, Ashton Genty gives you more. And here's something that a lot of people don't really pay attention to, because kind of, they fell in love with the guy because how tough he is and how physical he is as a runner. He has a fumbling problem. He's had 10 fumbles. Like, that's what a lot of people aren't paying attention to. Like, he has issues with ball security. So it's easy to fall in love with a guy because he runs hard, he runs physical, but the fact that you run so hard and you run so physical, it gives those defenders the opportunity to knock that ball out of your hand because you're still trying to fight for those extra yards. So that's something that a lot of teams are going to be paying attention to. I don't think that it's going to be a deal breaker because, I think they probably just tell him, sometimes you got to pick and choose your battles. But I wouldn't take Scatterboo over Ashton Genty. I would not. I don't trust Jeff Ireland either. No, I don't. He would not be the head of scouting if he was on any other team, a part of any other organization. I would draft Genty if he's available and trade Kamara. I don't know, man. I don't think that's going to happen. And I'm like I said, I'm not. If I'm looking at running back, okay, I know that I got Alvin for the next couple of years. This team just have too many holes and too many things that are important. Look, here's the thing. We know that with the running back position, you can find yourself a quality running back in the 4th round, the 3rd round, 2nd round. It don't have to be Ashton Genty. It don't have to be namesake around here. It can be a guy that shows up, like Kareem Hunt. Even Alvin. Alvin was a 3rd round draft pick, right? There are guys that you get late in rounds that they play like they were 1st round talent. So to me, like, okay, you could draft Ashton Genty, but you don't really need a running back like that. Like, Alvin is your running back. You know that Alvin is your running. You know Alvin is your guy. I'll give another example. Let's take a look at Reggie Bush, right? Reggie Bush, 2nd overall pick back in 2006 for the Saints, right? Saints also had Pierre Thomas out of Illinois. I don't want to call him a nobody, but an unheralded guy. And you can make an argument that Pierre Thomas was a better running back than Reggie Bush was. A better overall running back than what Reggie Bush was. So, and nobody knew who he was. He just kind of came out of nowhere. So all I'm saying is, like, you can always find talented guys in later rounds or undrafted, unproven guys if you get the right guy in the building to be able to develop these talented guys, and allow them to reach their full potential. Is what I'm saying. So no need for you to be reaching or trying to go after Ashton Genty when you need offensive line help, defensive line help, safety, etc. Like, if Malachi Starks is there, Mason Graham is gone, I'm not going to be sitting up here talking about Ashton Genty. I'm trying to get Malachi Starks because you need a starting safety. You need somebody that's going to be able to come in and make an immediate impact. And I want somebody that's going to be on the field the majority of the time, not somebody that on 1st down might be out there, 2nd down won't, 3rd down might be out there. Like, you think Tyler Warren would be there at 9? I think he probably would be. I think that Tyler Warren would probably be, he'll probably be on the board at number 9. I mean, I think, I look at, him as a he's a very, very talented tight end. I want to say, man, draft boards didn't really have him as a top 10 tight end. Let me see where they got him positioned. Let's see. Let's see where they have him positioned, man. Some people, he has really good upside, 6'6", 260 pounds. Some people are looking at him, probably as, day two guy that you can possibly pick up. Let's see what a draft grade they got him. On the big board, they got him 17th. This is on the big board, they got him at 17th. The mock draft, they got him going 14th to the Indianapolis Colts. Wouldn't mind him. Wouldn't mind him at all. And that's not, but I think he probably would be there at 9. Like, I think that he's probably going to be like a mid-round guy, early day 2 guy. You know what I'm saying? Like second round guy that you probably could get in the 2nd round. Is Mims better than Miller? When it comes to, like, as of right now, yes. And I'm only saying that because it seems like Jordan Mims is a guy that understands the playbook, is burning the midnight oil, is putting the due diligence in. I think that Kendre Miller is lazy. And I'm just saying, he just like, I was willing to give him an opportunity. I didn't feel like some of the things that Dennis Allen was saying about him was fair, like just calling him out like that, just calling him out, but don't want to call out, Derek Carr for playing like slow, or some of these other players that have, more of a name. Like, I didn't feel like that was fair, but it's hard for me to dispute and be able to defend a guy when I'm seeing it on the field, when Rizzy gave him an opportunity, gave him a clean slate. You couldn't even see the field because you weren't able to be out there in certain situations because you didn't know what the heck you were doing. And with that, I don't want to say that I feel like Kendre Miller just forgot how to play football. And to be honest with you, you should be more of a student of the game because you haven't been out there. So you should be in the running back room looking at film, understanding what you did wrong. I mean, he looked like a deer in headlights a lot of times. It looked like somebody that came out of the stands and was like, okay, man, be out here. Where's the protection? I mean, whiffing on protections. Like when you're doing stuff like that, man, like to me, it's hard for me to defend you. I just think that he put a lot of bad tape out there and he didn't do himself any favors. And you have to believe that just comes from you being lazy and not demanding a level of excellence from yourself. So until then, I can't say that. I can't say that he's better than Jordan Mims because I feel like Jordan Mims is seeing the field, even though he doesn't have the talent that Kendre Miller possesses. He's using his God-given ability, what God has given him and blessed him with, to try to see the field and do the best he can with it. Meanwhile, Kendre Miller is not doing his part. So you can have all the talent in the world, but if you're lazy and you're not putting forth your best effort, then you're gonna, not see the field. It's just that plain and simple. What are your thoughts about the head coach for our team in the next season? TJ, I picked Aaron Glenn to help the offensive line like that. I like the way he coached, but cut clues. I like song 1995. Let me say it like this, man. Say it like this, Jeremiah. I expounded on that on Bleacher Report. And I, feel free to go on here. I'm going to go ahead and hit the link. I did an entire episode on what I felt about the coaching situation. So there's that. But I do think that, there are some pros and some cons to hiring Aaron Glenn. 17 touchdowns the year before he came to the Saints, 2 touchdowns the second year with the Saints. His zesty anime self needs to go. Look, I just think that it's just not the right fit for him. Like, I just think that the Saints were not the right fit for him. I think that Jamal Williams can be a running back in the National Football League, but I just think that it's just not a good fit. Will Johnson, TJ, you'll take him? Yeah, I'll take him, but I just think that he's going to get picked early. I think that Will Johnson, the cornerback out of Michigan, I think that he's going to be off the board by the time the Saints pick at 9. But he's talented. I find it funny that most of the talking heads speak on how Rattler is a tale of two halves. No one is mentioning how Kubiak has been terrible at second half and in-game adjustments. That's a good point. And I mentioned that, Clint Kubiak has struggled with second half adjustments. And I feel like that's the reason why Spencer Rattler in some cases struggle with second half adjustments because, it's something, it's one thing when you have a quarterback like Derek Carr, he's supposed to know what he's doing. And he's supposed to, like, if things are breaking down, he's supposed to know how to put things and keep things together. Versus a rookie like Spencer Rattler that is really counting on his coordinator to help him see things. And Clint Kubiak has not done him any favors. Clint Kubiak, to me, is kind of a raw offensive coordinator. I do feel like maybe he needs someone else that is an offensive mind that he can kind of work with. If the Saints do hire an offensive-minded coach and maybe he wants to call the plays, Clint Kubiak, if he was to go somewhere like back to San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan or go somewhere with Andy Reid with Kansas City, I mentioned this on the Bleacher Report, I think that would really help him to be able to break out of that shell. I don't think that he's terrible. I just think that he just needs to work on the little things that can make him a much better coordinator. And let's see. Chemo says, smash the like button, family. I appreciate that, Chemo. Please hit the like button. And Hog Dad says, I like your mock draft, but instead of Judkins, can you take Cam Scatterboo? And I would not pick a quarterback at all. I'll add a cornerback instead of Jackson Dart. Well, look, Jackson Dart has really good upside, really good talent, and there's no definite when it comes to your quarterback position. Like, we all believe in Spencer Rattler. I definitely believe in Spencer Rattler, but you can't just go into the season just saying you're our quarterback with no type of competition. And Jackson Dart is a guy that could be a sleeper. He's a guy that could possibly, come to your organization and be a breath of fresh air. Or, he can go in there and not, be very good. But I don't feel like it's a waste of a draft pick. You gotta draft a quarterback, man. You gotta draft one until you can actually get it right. And if you can find yourself one of these young talented quarterbacks in the late round, if Rattler comes in year 2, looks the part, looks much better than he did in year 1, that's a steal. If Jackson Dart comes in and he looks really good and he's making plays, that's a steal. So that's all I'm saying. Just saw our schedule for next week, TJ, and if Carr wasn't our starter and we have a decent offense and defense, we can have a chance in the playoffs. We should look at Joe Milton. He looked decent. Yeah, I mean, look, that ain't a bad way to look at it either. Finding maybe some of these young guys. I don't think J.J. McCarthy is going to get traded. I don't think that Minnesota will want to do that. Malik Hooker, Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker, that's another guy. Joe Milton is another guy. If you don't feel like, maybe, Spencer Rattler, you have some question marks about him, maybe you can go with that. But, there's so many other ways that you can actually approach that. But all I know is you can't go into the new season or the off season with just saying, okay, Spencer, you're our guy. Like, you got to give him somebody that you can actually compete with. I mean, iron sharpens iron. TJ, I feel if we get Milroe, we can win the South with another Lamar Jackson with legs. Nah, man. Look, Jalen Milroe, I don't think he's that good, man. I don't. I don't think he's that good. I think that he's a guy that probably going to be in the NFL, probably come in maybe in gadget type situations. I could be wrong, but I don't see it. Like I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see what everybody else sees in Jalen Milroe. I see a guy that can actually run, but as an overall quarterback, guy struggles. Guy straight struggle, man. Like, he has to figure it out. I don't think he's a second round pick or a third round pick. I think he's probably like around a 4th or 5th round pick quarterback. But we'll see, man. I mean, he's supposed to be at the Senior Bowl in a couple of weeks, so I'll get a closer look at him, and I'll let you all know what I think. I would either draft a wide receiver or a pass rusher in the first round, or really the best available player. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong either way. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. I really do appreciate it. I do want to acknowledge the $2 from Josh says A. McCarthy Vrabel pairing could be for us. That ain't happening, man. I mean, these are 2 head coaches that we're talking about, Josh. One, Mike Vrabel is going to get a head coaching job. He's probably going to be with the Patriots, or he's going to probably end up with the Raiders. And as far as Mike McCarthy, he's going to stay with the Cowboys, or he's going to be a head coach somewhere else. I mean, these guys are too talented, too good, and too much of a high demand for them to be coaching coordinator. But feel free to contact me on X at TJAYJones8, Facebook.com, search Gumbo Pod Sports. Also on Blue Sky at TJAYJones8. Also, you can check out the previous episode of Saints Talk with Timothy J. Jones. And going forward, every single Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on Bleacher Report, you'll be able to check out Saints Talk. First episode just dropped. I'll put the link in the comments. So feel free to go over there, check it out. And also, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button here. Till next time, all I got to say is, who that?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.